fabled heat, where magic meets desire. Subscribe to ignite the fantasy.
The spiced wine burned pleasantly on my tongue, a fleeting distraction from the ice creeping into my veins. I stared out the arched window at the sprawling, snow-dusted gardens of Eldoria, my kingdom, my gilded cage. "So, what is this big problem that you have?" Lyra, my most trusted advisor and dearest friend since childhood, drawled from her plush velvet chair. Her tone dripped with skepticism, barely masking a hint of amusement. "I think I have feelings for my husbands." Lyra scoffed, taking a generous swig from her own goblet. Right, what a surprise. Woe is you, O Queen, adored and protected by three of the most powerful men in the realm." "No, you don't, damn it, I mean I asterisk like them," the words escaped in a frustrated rush. "I asterisk want them, not just because I'm supposed to, not because they're my protectors, because of asterisk them." Lyra lowered her goblet, her hazel eyes narrowing with something that might have been concern. "Leaving aside the absurdity, this requires my attention. Why, exactly? I thought you understood the arrangement." Arrangement, a cold, clinical word for a life sentence. My marriage to Rhys, Kaelin, and Torin was political, strategic, meant to solidify Eldoria's power, binding the strengths of three powerful noble houses to the throne. I was Queen Elara, a pawn in a game of alliances, expected to produce an heir and maintain the peace. Affection, desire, those weren't part of the equation, or so I thought. Rhys, the eldest, was all iron will and unwavering duty. As captain of the royal guard, he was my shield, his hazel eyes always watchful, his presence a comforting wall against the world. He was everything a queen could want in a protector, but it was the rare glimpse of warmth behind his stoicism that had begun to unravel me. The way his lips curved ever so slightly when I made a particularly clever political move, the flicker of possessiveness in his gaze when other nobles approached. Kaelin was fire and shadow. The youngest and the most volatile, he was the master of spies, a whisper in the dark, his loyalty fiercely protective and his emerald eyes burning with passion just beneath the surface. He moved with a feline grace, always close but never quite touching unless he chose to. He'd spend hours in my library when he knew I'd be there, reading and writing. At first, I thought he was just watching me, assessing for potential threats. I then realized that he, too, wanted to no asterisk me. And the rare times his fingers brushed against mine as he handed me a book, I found myself wanting him closer. And then there was Torin, the most enigmatic of the three, head of the royal mages. He was quiet, reserved, his sapphire eyes seeming to see worlds beyond my own. He was the one who taught me about my own magic, a latent power I'd inherited from my ancestors. He was also the one I saw the least of, often lost in his studies or mediating disputes between mages. Torin was the hardest to read, but also the one who sparked the most primal longing within me. I can never tell what he's thinking, but the way he guides my hands when we are practicing spells, the way his voice drops an octave when he knows I'm close, I know that there's a part of him that wants me as much as I want him. I know the arrangement, Lyra, I knew asterisk it, but something has changed. I gripped my goblet, the stem digging into my palm. They're not just guards and advisors anymore, they're more. Lyra considered me, her expression softening. "And you find this disturbing?" "Terrifying," I confessed. "I'm the queen, Lyra, I'm supposed to be above this. Unwavering. But I see Rhys's smile, or catch Kaelin's eye, or even just feel Torin's presence near me, and I forget who I am. I forget the crown, the responsibilities, I just feel desire." "And you think you can't act on it?" "I shouldn't." A silence hung in the air, broken only by the crackling fire in the hearth. The shoulds weighed heavily: duty, politics, expectations, all the things that kept a queen from being a woman, but the wants were clawing their way to the surface, a desperate hunger that threatened to consume me. The door to my chambers swung open and Rhys strode in, his face etched with concern. "My queen, there's been an incident at the southern border, a skirmish with the northerners." My heart clenched, another conflict, another threat to my kingdom. I took a deep breath, pushing the turmoil of my emotions back down, Queen Elara back on duty. "Details, Rhys." He rattled off a report, his voice calm and efficient, but I couldn't help but notice the way his gaze lingered on me, a silent question in his eyes. Had he heard? Did he know the turmoil within me? As Rhys spoke, Kaelin materialized from the shadows, slipping silently into the room. His emerald eyes flicked from Rhys to me, a flicker of something possessive in his gaze. He leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, a silent observer. And then, as if summoned by some unseen force, Torin appeared, stepping out of the fireplace, dusting ash from his robes. His blue eyes met mine, and for a moment the world seemed to fade away. I saw not the queen, not the political pawn, but Elara, the woman who longed to be touched, to be desired, to be loved. The Northerners were repelled, but at a cost, Torin said, his voice low and resonant. Their mages were experimenting with a new type of enchantment, something dark, something dangerous. My blood ran cold. Dark magic. That was the last thing Eldoria needed. Rhys turned to me, his expression grim. We need to discuss a plan of action, my queen. Kalen pushed himself off the door frame, his eyes hardening. I can gather more intelligence, find out what they're planning. Torin nodded. I can investigate the nature of the enchantment, determine its weaknesses. They were ready, my protectors, my husbands, but as they stood before me, united in their duty, all I could think about was how much I wanted them, how much I needed them, not just as protectors, but as men. We will meet in the war room in 1 hour, I said, my voice sounding strangely hollow even to my own ears. Dismissed. They bowed their heads and left, leaving me alone once more with my thoughts. The fire crackled, casting dancing shadows on the walls. The snow continued to fall outside, a silent blanket covering the land. An hour, I had 1 hour to decide. Could I suppress my desires, bury them deep down, and remain the stoic queen? Or could I risk everything, shatter the carefully constructed facade of my life, and embrace the chaos of my feelings? As I turned from the window, I saw a small, silver box sitting on my desk. I hadn't noticed it before. It was intricately carved with the symbols of the 3 noble houses, a bear for Rhys, a serpent for Kalen, and a raven for Torin. I opened it. Inside, nestled on a bed of velvet, were 3 rings. Each bore the crest of one of the houses, but instead of being gold or silver, they were made of the same dark, shimmering metal I'd seen the northern mages use. A note lay beneath the rings. It was written in Torin's elegant script, a gift and a warning: wear them and you will know the truth. But be warned, Elara, the truth can be a dangerous thing. The truth? What truth? Was this a trap, a test? My heart pounded in my chest. I picked up the ring bearing the bear sigil, Rhys's house. Its metal felt cold, almost alien, against my skin. I slipped it on my finger. A jolt of energy surged through me, and suddenly I saw Rhys not as the stoic captain of the guard, but as a man consumed by a fierce, possessive love for me. A love he had been desperately trying to hide. I gasped, tearing the ring from my finger. It clattered to the desk. The visions vanished. My breath came in ragged gasps. I looked at the remaining rings, the serpent and the raven, and felt a surge of fear and excitement. What other secrets were hidden beneath the surface? What desires did Rhys, Kalen, and Torin harbor? And what was this dark magic that threatened to unravel everything? As the clock chimed, signaling the hour, I knew I had a choice to make: face the darkness or let it consume us all. I picked up the rings. This time I did not hesitate. I slipped them on, one by one. The world shimmered around me, and the truth, in all its terrifying and seductive glory, began to reveal itself. I felt like I was falling, fast and hard, into a desire so strong it would either save me or break me completely. My husbands were waiting, and whatever secrets they held, I was ready to face them, together.